Good morning, guys. It's a beautiful sunny Monday morning here in Fredericksburg, Texas. Lovely day, and I love me a good Monday, especially a bright and sunny, shiny sunny Monday. Can't beat that. Today I have a couple things on my mind, particularly large Diet Coke, please.
One a week.
Thank you. Privacy versus security. And this basically has popped on my radar for a couple of different reasons. First, let's talk about the seminar I was at this last week with our Tom Ferry Team Plus group. We had a speaker, Peter Diamandis, who was incredible, and so much about the future, forward thinking. And of course, so he's talking about all the things that are coming in the future, such as, he talked a lot about, not a lot, but some about robots, and he would show these videos of robots from a few years ago. Thank you. From just a few years ago, and oh my goodness, these robots were falling over, they were running into walls. It was pretty funny, actually. And this was, I think, 2016. Then he showed this year some things that were happening with robots, and you would not believe the difference. These robots were hopping up onto benches, basically, I guess something made for them, and they were balancing on them, and they actually were doing backflips on them. So they went from running into walls and falling down to doing backflips. Thank you. You too. Which, unbelievable. And so they said the point was here, the interesting thing was not that, well, big surprise, we're getting better at making robots, okay? But that wasn't really the point. The point was AI. You hear a lot about AI, which just stands for artificial intelligence, also known as machine learning. It's when machines have basically been given the ability to learn on their own. They're able to take mistakes, calculations, and I won't go too deep in this because I can't go too deep in this, but the gist of it is they are improving themselves. We aren't going back and going, well, let me see what went wrong in that experiment. Let me figure it out. They are auto-correcting constantly and able to share across other platforms with other machines, to robots to some degree. So that's what AI and artificial intelligence or machine learning is all about. So that was all very exciting, but then of course he starts showing more and more about how he laughed about having been, I think he was in the Netherlands, and having had a chip implanted in himself so that he could be identified because he wanted to. Then he starts showing how, you've probably seen these studies, I think it's the Chinese, he said. He gave us the slides, and I'm going to try to download them and go through and give y'all some real specifics because it was mind-blowing stuff. One of the things he talked about was the Chinese, I think it was, who have the technology already to scan, I know it was actually, the faces of almost all of their citizens, and based on certain points on their face could identify who people they do shots on the street are. I turned and looked at my friend Mary and laughed. I said, yeah, people out here are worried about Facebook, you know. So that made me start thinking privacy, which everyone's worried about their privacy, but here's just my take on things, guys. You can't have everything you want in life, right? So there's privacy and then there's security. Am I willing to give up the fact that the government would be able to, some bureau could recognize my face on the street, give up my privacy there for the security that provides? 100%. You know, I'm really not worried, you know. To me, my thought is they're going to be able to catch the bad guys so much quicker. So the main moral in life here is don't be the bad guy. If you're the bad guy, if you're a creep, if you have ill intent and are out to hurt people, good, you need to be worried. But going forward in the future, not only Peter Diamandis, Gary Vaynerchuk, everyone says life's fixing to get really hard for the bad guys. So I am willing to make that trade. If my child were abducted and I thought there were a way that hundreds, thousands of people could be scanned facially to find my child, would I give up the fact that my face might have been scanned somewhere and I don't care where it was scanned because I wouldn't do anything I shouldn't be doing particularly anyway? Go for it. That's what I will make that trade all day long. We all want to be protected from the terrorists in the airports. We want the scanning and the screening. Well, do you want that to improve or not? And do you want that to be faster and quicker and easier for 99.99% of us, the good guys who aren't out to commit crimes or hurt people? Then, yeah, that's the trade we're going to be making. So don't fool yourself about that, folks. I've actually considered making a post where I make a little tombstone, even with RIP privacy. Privacy is dead to a large degree, and so what? You know, to me, it's just not a big deal, because to me also, the more data they have, the less any of it's particularly of interest. I don't think anyone's going to be looking into small, uninteresting little areas of my life when there are gazillions of bits of data out there that actually can do good for humanity. So yeah, I'll make the trade all day long. Everyone's got a different opinion, but here's the truth. It doesn't matter what your opinion is, it's coming for you. So if you want to be romantic and live in the past, I've heard a lot lately about how I want things to be the way they used to be. Said no one's successful in the future ever. So good luck with that. Hope that works for you going back in time, but it's not going to be there. So embrace technology. I mean, we literally are living in the most exciting, beautiful time in the history of man. This gentleman talked about, he said, if you can live another 10 years, you can most likely live easily another 30, because we're that close to curing all of it. That's what all this technology is doing. It's just mind-blowing, and in the most positive, not negative way at all. I want to hit very briefly on GDPR. For those of you, I know many of my folks watching out there probably maintain email lists. If you have an email list that you use to market to your clients, your customers, something's coming along by the name of GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, and it goes into effect May 25th. So that's like, what, 18 days or so. It's soon. And it basically highly restricts your ability to use the data that you have collected, or to just store, maintain, or process data, meaning emails, names, things we all have in business, or should, of people in the EU. So you're like, well, what do I care about the EU? I'm not particularly working over there. Well, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Because if they are in the EU, they don't have to be EU citizens. So I'm a little vague still. Does that mean if someone's traveling and passing through the EU and they happen to open my email, that means I had to have given them all these special protections and notices? Maybe. We're still working on that. And don't forget that the GDPR will apply to the UK, because the UK is in the EU until March 30th of next year, and at that point they do plan to, from what I'm reading, implement their own legislation, which will basically be the GDPR as well. Basically what it says, and we'll dive deeper in this later for those of you who are interested. I'll do a special issue. It's basically about maintaining, using in any way, processing data of people in the EU. If you only work on the United States and you don't care about having any influence in the EU, you don't sell any products or have any newsletters that go there, you're still going to probably have to be able to go through your list and make sure you didn't inadvertently get some signups from the EU, and you're going to have to delete and get rid of that information. And you have to do it before May 25th, because technically there's the chance that deleting this data on May 30th is still processing data. So let's just be safe and secure, and let me know if you want more information about that, and I'll do a little bit deeper dive on GDPR regulation, because it's coming on May 25th. It's soon, it's real, and I think what a lot of the people I'm hearing is, even if you cannot identify because of your mail server that they definitely are not in the EU, you're going to have to assume they are. And so we're going to have a lot of work and a lot of deleting and cleaning up of our email list, and changing our way of gathering people to sign up as well going forward. Don't want anyone getting crossways with the law here. So give you more info if you guys are interested. Otherwise, have a wonderful Monday. I love you all for joining, and let's talk tomorrow. Bye.